This video is sponsored by True Gold Republic, the precious metals experts. Talk to one of their experts today about diversifying your portfolio to help assure your future financial security. Find their contact information in the description below and pinned in our first comment. James Kaufman, World News Report today, July 11th, 2024. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having another earthquake swarm on the Cascadia Subduction zone. And we have some big earthquakes, and two of them have tsunami warnings, and we have several buoys in event mode. Let's get started. All right, to begin with, many remember that we had a swarm in this exact area just a few days ago, about 5 days ago. We did cover that. We just had another earthquake in the last hour here in red. We're talking about a 6.4 here off the coast of Canada with a tsunami warning, default depth of 10 kilometers. Talking about a 5.4 here with a tsunami warning, default depth of 10 kilometers. This is just about the same exact area that we saw the swarm last week. So something may be happening here. We've just had a 4.9 also with a tsunami warning. This is the Juan de Fuca plate here that you see in red. Of course, this is the North American plate and Pacific plate. And the Juan de Fuca plate is being pushed under the North American plate, and that's forcing magma to the top of the Cascadia volcanic range here that includes mountains like Mount Rainier, Mount Glacier, Mount St. Helens, Mount Adams, Mount Hood, etc. So this is, well, even Mount Olympic. This is a recipe for disaster here. These are big quakes, larger than what we saw, well, for the most part, although we've only seen 3. We have another one down here, much smaller, a 3.1, but still part of the movement of the Juan de Fuca plate here that's subsiding again under the North American plate. Now we'll show you what that means. We'll zoom in just to make sure that there's no other quakes that we've missed, and I don't believe that there are. So let's get some additional information on these quakes, and let's take a look at the tsunamis that were created. All right, over to volcanoesandearthquakes.com. It looks like they're seeing more than 3 earthquakes here, but let's be sure. We'll actually zoom in and take a look here. It looks like they're showing 4 earthquakes, the larger one being a 6.4 and a 5.2. We're going to go over both of those. Looks like this is being reported by the Canadian government. It's going to be our main source. Again, at 6.4, 10 kilometers, the default depth here. We see that the French came in at a 6.0, which is about as high as I've ever seen them come in. And again, we have another one right here, a 5.2. And this is being called out again by Canada. The USGS called it out as a 5.4. You can see it right here, actually. And so did the Europeans. And they have 2 additional quakes here to complete the swarm. Let's see if we can get in there and take a look. We have a 4.8 here and a 4.0 here. So they're reporting 1 extra earthquake. However, I don't believe they are reporting the quake further south. And this was volcanoesandearthquakes.com, not reporting the 3.1 whatsoever. So let's get some detailed information, at least about the 2 tsunami warnings. All right, we'll start out with the 6.4. Happened today, of course, July 11th, 2024, this morning. Very strong magnitude, 6.4, North Pacific Ocean, off British Columbia. Again, we have several buoys in event mode, so some sort of tsunami was created. We're going to figure that out very shortly here. Here we have a 6.4. The Canadian government being our main source of information here. Endeavour Ridge being the closest volcano. Same as last week's report, last week's swarm. 3.8 atomic bombs worth of energy released here. That is some jolt right off the coast there. We're currently at volcanodiscovery.com. Starting out, the Canadian government a 6.4, the Germans a 6.3, both default. 12 kilometers cannot be right. The Europeans a 6.4. We have 10 kilometer default, a 6.4 coming out of Australia. The International Research Institute for Seismology at 6.4. And of course the French at a 6.0, the USGS at a 6.4. So I guess a 6.4 is going to be a great bet. The Italians also at a 6.4. Doesn't look like anyone has a proper depth for this quake. Now, moving on to the second largest quake of the small swarm of 4, a strong 5.2 earthquake. And that's going to be, again, just off British Columbia, Canada. And this occurred 2 hours ago. Detailed information of 5.2. Now, the USGS came in at 5.3, as we'll soon see. Main source. It's going to be the Canadian government, Endeavour Ridge, the nearest volcano that's active here. And it looks like about 951 tons of TNT was released with this earthquake. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have lots of buoys around the globe, but very few tsunami buoys. You're looking at all of them when the rest of them are turned off. We've got 46416, same one that was in event mode last time. That little red thing is the event. And we will view some extensive information. Next we have 46419. This looks like a much larger event. And we will view some additional information. And next we have station 46404. You can see how small the event here is, but we will view detailed information on that as well. 3 buoys, all of the buoys right there on the Cascadia that aren't turned off in event mode. All right, taking a look at some detailed information here. We're talking about inches again, but there was a tsunami created here. Just a few inches high. It will grow as it hits the shore, but this is nothing significant whatsoever. This is the buoy that's furthest north, 46416. All right, moving to the center buoy, 46419. We have one of the biggest events I've ever seen. It looks like this buoy actually moved around 20 meters or 60 feet. Let's pray that this is some kind of error, but we know we had a 6.4 magnitude earthquake right there that released several atomic bombs worth of energy. Wow. We're talking about going from around 2773 down to 2753, about 20 meters or about 70 feet. Unbelievable. And finally, the southernmost buoy here just moved inches as well. So that one in the middle, we will take a look at where it's located, by far had the most action, unless there was some kind of error here, because again, this is just inches. A tsunami again was created, but again, just inches. This is the southernmost buoy that's in event mode 46404. Again, this is 46419. It shows 20 meters or about 70 feet in movement here. The other two just show inches, and this is located right where the event occurred. So this is very worrisome indeed. I would imagine this probably would have already struck the Canadian and Washington state coast. What a large tsunami if the data is correct, which I doubt personally. So in summary, we've had 2 earthquakes, a 6.4 and a 5.4 here. We've just had a 4.9 with another tsunami warning. Looks like all 3 of them had tsunami warnings on them. We did mention the 3.1 down here. Just in summary, folks, another swarm happening right where the other swarm a few days back happened. And these could have created a very large tsunami, or at least the 6.4 could have. So let me know of any reports of a tsunami hitting the coast of Washington State, or any of the Canadian islands, or the Canadian coast. With that said, God bless each and every one of you guys. Please share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible in Bizarro World.